Welcome back to my channel. I should definitely be doing homework right now, but I definitely don't feel like doing homework right now, so I figured let's make a video. I wanted to get a little bit more personal with you and share a story. I wanted to talk about my pregnancy and delivery while being on Suboxone. Before we go too far into the video, I wanted to ask you to click subscribe and like this video. Just do it now so you don't forget, because I always forget and then I have to go back later and like the videos. It's really something that you figure out as a creator, how much those likes matter. But anyway, like this. So I got pregnant in 2015 in the spring, and I had been on Suboxone for a bit at that point, and we decided we were going to try and get pregnant. And I honestly didn't think much about being on Suboxone. I guess I was like, yeah, let's try to get pregnant, but I didn't expect to get pregnant right away. But I did. I got pregnant right away. I didn't have my own prescription at that point. I was using my boyfriend's prescription, and I did this because of money. I couldn't afford my own prescription. It cost $250 just to see the doctor each month, so it was an additional $450 or $500 a month out of pocket for the prescription, and that was kind of not going to happen. It just wasn't going to happen. I was very upfront with my OB about this. I told them what I was on and that it wasn't my prescription, and they tried to get me into the doctor to see them, and I explained the situation like, yo, this isn't going to happen because I can't afford it. It's not that I don't want to come here or do the drug tests or anything. Like, I take this regularly. I'll do all the drug tests you need during this pregnancy. I just can't afford my own prescription. I went and saw a maternal medicine specialist who actually did his fellowship in Boston, Massachusetts, which, as we all know, was hit really hard with the heroin epidemic. So he had a lot of experience with Suboxone and pregnancy, which was great. I was really excited and I felt really confident being under his care. I thought that I would be switched to Subutex. I thought that it would be necessary, and I wasn't really sure how that was going to happen because of me not having my own prescription. And the doctor assured me that it was okay, that enough studies have been done about Suboxone, especially where he was doing his fellowship or internship or whatever it's called. And he said that the naloxone at that dosage was so negligible that it didn't really matter. So I was able to stay on Suboxone. And I went through my pregnancy normally. They had me as high risk towards the end just because of the medication, but I didn't have any complications. I had a great pregnancy. I ran my first 5K at 13 weeks pregnant. I was an avid lifter in the gym, so I was constantly in the gym and constantly working out, and everything was great. I went tightrope rock climbing, which caused a little bit of a tizzy for some people, but my OB okayed it, so I was just doing what I normally did. And everything was great, and then came time for the delivery in November. When I first got to the hospital, my delivery team was great. I went in at 9 a.m., so I was induced around 2 o'clock, and like I said, the delivery team was awesome. The nurses were so supportive. They were so supportive of me being on Suboxone and understanding. They made me feel good about my choice, like I made the right thing, you know? I wasn't using, I was under doctor's care, everything was great. Well, Emerson decided he didn't want to come that day or that night. So the next day rolls around and I get like my third set of nurses on the floor, and there was this one particular nurse that was not fond of the fact that I didn't have a prescription for Suboxone, and she made me feel very uncomfortable about it. The entire time I talked to them and I was like, okay, after I give birth, I'm going to need Subutex. I had an epidural and I knew that I might need to take pain medicine afterwards. So I expressed so clearly that I needed Subutex afterwards. I was like, I'm going to need this medication because of taking the pain medicine. I honestly didn't really know much about how the pain medicine would interact with my Suboxone, if it would cause instant withdrawal. You hear a lot of different things. Some doctors will tell you that the naloxone will make it so that the pain medicine causes you to go into withdrawals. Some say it doesn't do anything. I just wanted to be safe and take the Subutex because I knew that the naloxone wasn't in that and there would be no interaction. And the nurses assured me, yes, we will have the Subutex for after delivery. So I started pushing, and 3 hours later after pushing, they literally had to squeeze my body and squeeze him out of me because the little bugger came out with his little hand like this, so he did not want to come out. I pushed and pushed and pushed and eventually had him squeezed out, and I was hurting. I was dead tired. It had been a full 24 hours plus some, and then 3 hours of pushing, and I was miserable. So I did take a pain medicine right away, and after a couple hours, they wanted me to redose, and I said, no, I would prefer to not take any more pain medicine. Can I have Subutex? And the nurse is like, no, you're going to take pain medicine. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take any more pain medicine. Like, that's not what we agreed to. I was supposed to take Subutex. And they left, and they said they'd come back later with some, and then somebody came back later and they brought me Tylenol and more pain meds, and I said, I do not want more pain meds. Can I please take Subutex? And they just didn't really understand what I was getting at, so I finally had to go out to the nurse's station myself and be like, listen, I need Subutex because I'm not going to take any more pain pills, but I would rather not have to take the Suboxone because it has the naloxone in it. And I came to find out that they didn't even have Subutex in the pharmacy at the hospital. It was never available to me, and they lied to me. And I was really, really ticked off at this point. You know, I felt like they just didn't understand where I was coming from and what I was doing. And I guess I should have never agreed to take the pain pill, but at that moment I was in an immense amount of pain. I just didn't want to take any more of it. So I waited. I actually waited 12 hours until I took the first dose of Suboxone. And I was not happy about it. They eventually did bring me the 2 milligrams of Suboxone that I asked for, but they started to get weird. The nurses were all being kind of funny around me. Eventually, I don't even really like talking about it, but they called children and youth because I did not have a prescription to Suboxone. And it kind of got messy from there. And I just felt so much shame over everything. None of this would have happened had I not been on Suboxone. I shouldn't have been on Suboxone. That's what I felt like. I felt like I fucked up. And that's a really shitty feeling after you've just given birth. I didn't know what to do, and I felt like the hospital didn't have my back. And that's a very, very disheartening feeling because I'm trusting my life. I'm trusting my life and my son's life in their care, and they didn't even care to talk to me. My OB knew the entire time about my prescription. I was not using drugs. Like, I could have been a different version of myself. I could have came in there strung out on drugs, and I didn't. I was on maintenance medication. I was under a doctor care. I went to the OB twice a week, every week for the last month of my pregnancy. I wasn't hiding anything from them, and they treated me like I was a piece of shit, really. I'm not sure why the nurse decided to do what she did, but she did. And she changed my life so dramatically because of it. And I just want to let other mothers know that you do not have to be ashamed of your maintenance. Not during your pregnancy. You're doing the right thing. You're probably going to have some people that don't agree with your choice, or that think you should be taking a different medication, or just think that you shouldn't be pregnant at all. But it's not their life, it's yours. Stay on your maintenance medication, see your doctor, always talk to your doctor, and be honest with them, even if it means telling them that you're taking a prescription that isn't yours. We really need to get the awareness out there about what maintenance medication is, and there's such a stigma around it still that just needs to go away. I was just done filming this, and I remembered a very important detail to this, so I am sorry if this is a little bit of off frame or whatever. Before I left, the doctor came into my room and was explaining how I was about to be released and Emerson was going to be released eventually afterwards, and he insisted that I take a prescription of pain pills home. And I just looked at this man like, are you serious? Do you not know what has been going on this entire time? I have been fighting so hard to not take pain pills, and you have been trying to shove them down my throat. And he actually wrote the prescription and told me to take it with me if I so chose. I didn't take it with me, and I'm just so frustrated. I actually called into the hospital afterwards to fill out some survey, and I expressed how badly this affected me. This was very traumatizing. I went in to have my son. I wasn't on drugs. I was treated like I was a dirty, dirty addict. I almost had my son taken from me for a medication that my doctor knew I was on. And then they tried to give me pain pills. They clearly don't understand addiction. That's all I have for tonight. I'm gonna get back to my homework now because I don't have any more excuses. So I will see you guys in the next video.